All righty. Thank you, everyone, for hopping on, and welcome to the Family Affair, where family meets finance and legacy is the motive. I'm Adrienne Trice. I'm the CEO of DNA Financial Solutions, a firm that was built out of necessity that allows me to become the fulfilled version of motherhood and a matriarch of our business. Once was something that helped me become a better mom is now helping me be the CEO in sovereignty. It's part of our DNA.
And I'm Avery Sanders, the CEO of DNA Financial Solutions. Today, we're talking about the duality we see up close every day, the women who raise us and the women who leads us. Because the truth is, those roles don't compete, they complete each other.
Awesome. So let's see. Where do we start? You can start it off. We all know. If we don't know, right? We are a family-owned business, and I operate this with my son Avery Sanders.
That is right.
So yeah, I think we'll just do a back and forth question thing, and we'll just unfold it. I'll just start this. I'll start off to say this. There aren't a lot of family businesses, I think, that should be restored, especially as we pivot in this economy and we figure out ways to. I don't even like the word. I'm going to use the word survive, for lack of a better term. And I think Avery, I lost you. You're right there. Let's play around with the optics, son.
Now, there's
Okay,
something wrong with my camera.
okay. So, like now, we understand that you're handsome. We all know that. Okay. Now we're gonna go ahead and just play around on the live. I think this is hilarious. So this is what we do. This is family business. There's a lot of trial and error, and yes, the Aquarian energy. Let's try something new. Let's try something new. That's a dual planet stuff going on right there. So can we, son, can we, like, are we are we together yet?
We'll just use the regular camera for today.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
This is hilarious. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and let them know how business really works. Let's give them a shot of how we interact. Like, so we can do questions, but again, son, mom, team, football mom, and maybe football mom. This is my oldest son. I do have 3 sons. All of them, your brothers, have some sort of business thing going on as well. So while we want to bring them on, we will be bringing on your brothers. We'll have to figure out how to get them because Dorian has a full-time job, and then Kale has school. He's a senior this year. So yeah, we'll have to bring them on. And Dorian and I are working on a real estate business, and then Kale has a drop shipping endeavor that he's actually doing really well. Right. Not that I'm surprised because he's been doing things since 7th grade, but yeah, we definitely have the DNA switch on in terms of how to make money amongst all of us. It was always an important thing for us to instill that because that's what was instilled with my family. So yeah, let's go ahead and we could do a couple of questions and just see how this unfolds in the conversation of how it is to be your mom and then how it is to be the CEO.
All right, let's get it started.
And it's changed over the years, hasn't it?
It has. A lot of maturing, a lot of kind of, what would the word be? Just distinguishing, the differences between like our relationships. So we have the mother and son relationship, and we also have business partner relationship.
And then I would also say there's a friendship component because we have to work together a lot. We definitely have elements of a friendship there so we can work around things.
Right.
My kids are my friends too.
All right. So let's get started. So Ma, You always say motherhood is your first ministry. When did you realize you could be both a mother and a CEO?
When I got fired. Um, so yeah, motherhood is definitely in my mind the most important role that I've ever had. And I like to stress that because so many times we look at influencers, especially if we look at male influencers or well established women in their 40s who do not have children, or women who may not have children, they may have a different path. And so my path as CEO was pretty much built on motherhood so I could be available to you. The story is there was a point in time where I did not have your father fully available, and I had to assume the role of what it's like a full-time mom. And I found myself like, just fired, like I didn't want to go back and forth with the boss who couldn't allow me a 30-minute flex time. He literally was just like, oh, we need you to be on the phone. And that was uncomfortable because at the time, 30 minutes meant me missing you, meant me not being able to pick you up, me like it just took like 30 minutes in a mom's world could create an hour of time, especially if she's commuting.
Right.
So between that, Kel was sick, that incident with our family, we were divorcing at the time. CEO and just becoming an independent contractor allowed me to be available to you all at a different capacity. It was over time, but yeah, that's when I knew, because motherhood is the most important thing. And then I just combined it with, just being my own boss.
Okay. And
So so I guess is it my turn to answer your question? Because we have like a list.
yeah,
Or you can go.
to follow up with that, I think what people don't see is how natural those transitions became when sovereignty hit or kicked in. Like, yes, you're a mom, but internally, we all know when the CEO has entered the chat.
Yeah, do I ever turn the CEO off? Because I think I get these downloads, and the CEO is prominently always in the chat. Hey, son, did you see this? I always send you guys like links and stuff, but I think that, yeah, no, the CEO is probably the more prominent hat that I wear, but because I also operate like a mom as a CEO. There's a checklist, even with football and stuff. Okay, that's a CEO role. You know, what you doing? Getting the coach. Look at the grades. Where you film at? What you doing? Like, do you have your stuff ready? It's very different from you and Dorian because you guys are so much older. And the CEO role wasn't as strong as it is with Kale. It's like a constant checklist because he's the only one that lives here. But when we were getting your college career off, there was definitely a CEO operation going to get you a scholarship with the marketing, the email, like it was like a sales campaign for you. So it's always intertwined. Like there's always something that's very boss like. And then again, for people who don't know, and you have to hear it all the time, what am I, Avery?
Capricorn.
Yes. So and I'm a stallion. So that means it's triple. So
Don't
I
forget
always like
that. Don't forget
have
that.
business. I'm a stallion. Stellium, that's the other word. So I think that people also assume that the family business as a mom means like I'm a little bit softer, there's a lot of shortcuts, but it doesn't. I think I get really froggy. And unless you know me, I think everyone's like, oh, she's nice. But when it comes to running the business, we've been beat up and thugged it out enough that business does not make for softness. I don't know what business is soft, especially in the world of finance, and it's highly compliant and regulated and it's dealing with money. There is no softness in business. It's not soft. It's not sissified. That's another word I use around here, sissified.
Simplified.
So What are your thoughts
As far as what, how
about business and what it is and
business. So from what I've learned from business, it really show you what your true colors are and what you like, what areas you need to work on. And when when you dive into this industry, not taxes per se, but just like being an entrepreneur, it would really test you, test your patience, test how you could how you respond when adverse times come about. So I think running a business will definitely show what your true colors are, and it will make or break you, honestly.
right. There's a lot of initiation that people don't realize that we go through, and then it's interesting. We've gone through it together. Like, so how would you say, like, were you about 17, 18, kind of like when you started to like get this concept? Hey, can you come and help me out? I think that's when you guys start. Everyone's always helped me out. Dorian's helped me out. Kels helped me out, but I think that because you're the oldest and you had some more skills that I could really assist, doing some typing, doing just all kind of admin stuff, and then getting your insurance license. Those are all things that kind of help out. That is what entered you into the world of business. But I can honestly say I didn't think that we would be this deep as far as partnership. And when it comes to that initiation, when we talk about when you first started, which was like college student, you were focused on your career, I was just thinking, oh, you would just come back and then help out, doing your off time, have your job. And I would just be running this tax business as a solopreneur. And now we have this international team where we have, a full staff, small nonetheless, but still unfolding, and us and our communication and where we've been at in certain points in life all spills into the business, honestly. Like if there's a personal issue, which I've had two health occurrences, gone through a breakup, you've had to witness that.
Yeah,
And then what was your major challenges during the business with your career and stuff?
I got fired. I got fired from my weekend job, and from that, from me getting let go came some legal issues, some legality issues. But everything's all good. There's a reason for everything. At least that's what I like to believe. God's plan. And honestly, I'm glad that I'm not in that space anymore. And I guess it took an extreme moment for me to actually see that that space is not for me, and I need to be in places that would best suit me and help me progress in whatever thing I'm trying to progress in.
Right. So I think there's this word that comes to mind, and you can give me feedback on it. A lot of times we'll hear toxicity around the word dependency, right? And sometimes it'd be like, oh, like the mom son thing. But I don't think there's like it's like an interdependence. We definitely have a lot more to communicate about with how our future goals impact each other. And so the business, I believe, is the platform and the leverage that we both can utilize to get to where we want to go. And you're young, obviously, son, you have goals in mind, and then I have my goals, and one of my goals that I've been talking about is like, what would it look like to semi-retire? And we've been talking about this big 50 thing for me. So when I'm 50, or at least in my early 50s, I have this target because my dad retired at like 52, 53. I'd like to actually live a softer life, if you will, by that time. So a lot of it has been how do we build that structure, us not seeing this, because again, my parents were blue collar workers. They're the ones that had the structural job. We're talking Midwest, high work ethic. You do your 20, you out. But for us, that's not the formula. Obviously, it's not even the formula to be farmers, but we both have the formula to utilize this discovered business and having it expand to where it gets you your goals and it gets me my goal. So I think that was one of the interesting things is that we're very interdependent as we leverage ideas and concepts. Explaining those to you because we talked earlier today that while you've worked, you haven't really worked in one of those structural cultural environments like for year over year, like
Yeah,
right.
like
Yeah.
seasonal.
So I did use the word spoiled, kind of, because entrepreneurialism isn't spoiled, but not to have to go into that environment and then untrain your mind because I don't know what it's like today, but I do know what it's like to live in a call center or work in a call center and just have the structure and not being able to grow and express your ideas and create because you have a teleprompter telling you what to do, certain things, and there's a lot more flexibility in the world of entrepreneurialism. So, um, I wanted to say like what advice and there's like take a look at our talking points. And yes, we have talking points just so you can be transparent because we're just not there yet. Okay. Point number 5. Um you can go ahead and go over that one because I think that's a good thing that we can go over.
You said point five?
Yeah.
So, for the women listening, what would you tell a mother stepping into leadership?
Well, I have a couple friends who are clients and also friends in my circle who children work for them, which is kind of neat. And my role is a little bit significant because I think I'm one of the only I'm just trying to like kind of like scan my social group. I think I'm one of the only women who have a business who have 3 sons. That's a very different business. There's one beautiful real estate professional. I know she has 4 sons that come to mind. I have really talked to her one on one. But um, I believe that leadership is a duality and it's a blend of masculine energy and feminine energy. And so I have had to create cycles in business where I go hard, it's a lot of push, but we also have to understand that we build the infrastructure around the feminine energy to catch it. And being a mother of 3 sons and the financial industry, I don't think individuals know this. It is not only masculine energy that prevails it, there's still not a whole lot of women who are influencers in the financial world that specifically talks about crypto, stocks, taxes. So I do believe that if you are stepping into leadership, number one, choose the industry that best suits your personality. This is not an easy game, finances. So choose an industry that best suits you. And if you are going to be a leadership position, I believe that one thing I promise you, if someone is a client and I'm in a consulting space, I always ask them, what are you reading? And reading isn't just limited to pick up a book. And I know that that's your preference. And it's so nice that someone of your generation likes to read a book, a physical book. But what are you listening to keep that mind right? And this is just not for women. This is for all business owners because we don't I don't necessarily pitch to just women. We have a dual book of business, so we just don't, especially with the son. I have opted not to just attract women, attract women, attract women. We have couples. We have a lot of men in our business that we help, and then we have an older type of more mature woman who pretty much looks like me, going through empty nesting, may have been divorced, maybe in a marriage or something. But you got to read. If you're asking me what I would be telling women, you got to read, you got to mentally prime yourself, and you got to choose an industry that best reflects your personality. Because there's so many different industries out there. I just happen to be gritty about life and have chosen to do finance and love it because it challenges my intellect. So, um, and you guys are it. What are y'all doing? You do Forex? Dorian's taking on the pillar of real estate. We do all this whole finance thing. We talk a lot about finances. So the choosing of what you like to do would be what I'd say. You have to choose something that is of interest to you as a mom and a leader, if I understood that question correctly.
Okay.
So I guess we can go over, I don't know, like maybe some legacy lessons. So this is something that if people don't know, we've shifted into a consulting firm, and then I have this vision of creating a space that will develop CEOs mentally. It's like a sovereignty theme in terms of the spectrum of where people are at on their entrepreneurial journey and how they can go through mental shifts based on where they're at in terms of production. One of the biggest things I'd say, the pillars of legacy, is that identity. And you and I have talked about that. And we'll probably just have podcasts that will talk about our identity unfolding individually and how collectively we brought it into the business. But you have to like redefine as a mother your identity as you go through the stages. So this is 27 years in motherhood for me, and I've had to define my identity based on where I'm at today. And it is leading with the title of CEO, but with legacy in mind. And then because it's a different space, because Kel is actually graduating next year, it's different from 5 years ago. So there's the empty nesting stuff. Oh, what am I going to do? And I have plenty to do because I built the business. There's so much to do. Actually, I'm doing more because he's less dependent on me. The dude is in wrestling now, so we'll see how that goes. But sports.
Right.
Um, and it just like all of that themes out under the identity, and it's a duality of motherhood and CEO for me because this is just not a job, it's a legacy. I'm truly building this and making sure we have all the parameters in place and structures in place for you all, and then no pressure, my future grandchildren.
Mhm.
No pressure, no hints. What would you say? What would you say would be a legacy lesson?
Um, Structure protects your sovereignty. And for this key point, sovereignty as in what? So I can get a better idea of this.
Like your mission, your values.
Okay. So, yeah, definitely. Structure will definitely protect your sovereignty because you don't want a chaotic life when it comes to narrowing down what your goal is. If your goal is to lose weight and you find yourself at the grocery store in all the wrong aisles, the frozen food aisles with the pizzas and the frozen burritos, and you go down the chip aisle as well, and you're over here wanting to get a 6 pack, you're not going to be aligning with your goals if you put yourself in these, chaotic predicaments. So when it comes to structuring um, your business, figure out what will align with what you're trying to do. For instance, we're over here trying to, not even trying, we're doing it. We're doing, what we're doing is creating like a space for people to see us more. We watched a video not too long ago about how the reason why you're not making a million is because nobody knows you. And I believe everybody's goal when they start a business is to make $1 million. That's like probably one of the first numbers that comes to mind. But in order to obtain that, you know, some people's businesses just can't ticket out 10 different $100,000, services. Some people will have to really just like amp up the volume with the services, with the clients, and with whatever they're doing to get themselves out there. So what we're doing these podcasts every
Yeah.
Tuesday, and then I'm sure we're going to add more days throughout the week once we get the structuring right, and then posting more. I got a bunch of videos I need to edit and just post. I wake up at 4 a.m. and record videos. I'm implementing that into my routine and just become more knowledgeable about the area that we're in.
Right. I think that, why did you have to talk about food? But
I'm hungry right now, actually.
yeah. No, I would agree. The structure really protects the level in terms of where we want to be. And I know that we use the term sovereignty a lot, and as I guess people get to know us, there's a spiritual component within the business. And if anyone is been a client or a consulting client with me, and we've gone through the process, we do talk about what that sovereignty state is, and your business can't be, we'll just use general terms, high performing without structure. And so that's one of the things that we definitely want to also have some three-dimensional conversations with our folks in terms of the chaos that we've gone through, and um, what we've had to do to implement that in order to bring some sort of peace and alignment in order to grow. Um, Chaos in business happens almost at every single level, is what I'm understanding as people come. Like, you get to a level, and if you're trying to go to the next level, you're going to create this chaos energetically. And it's almost like a duality if we start talking spiritually. Like, every single level is giving birth to a new idea, a new concept. New tax brackets cause new challenges. So I'd say
More money, more
that's on point. You got to have some structure. So um, I know that we've been on for almost 30. We want to make sure that we keep things at least under 30 minutes. Again, these videos, our first couple, we just want to make sure that people know who we are. We do owe, we do own a more like a business consulting company now. We switched on the consulting label because we want to help people in a deeper manner, and we've matured in what we want to do for folks. So definitely check us out, follow us on DNA Fin Solutions. And with this episode, again, just getting to know us, I think next week we'll figure out what we'll talk about. We'll post that because we're like really refining this. But I definitely want people to know a little bit more about your journey as a football athlete, and how this business, utilizes and leverage those skills that you don't know, like of competition, of not giving up, tenacity, fortitude. I want people to understand what it was like to be top 50 in the state and some of those challenges. You have a very unique story, and then all of a sudden, pandemic happened. So we can uncover that, and then we could talk about the characteristics around that and how they get implemented in business. So that would be really an interesting story. So with that said, thank you everyone for tuning in. Any final comments, Avery? I want to make sure I don't call you anything like I'm a mom.
Um, Today I don't have anything to say. Tax season is in 2 months, so make sure you guys are gathering.
Again,
All right.
it is. It is. Well, we don't know. We will have to probably do a whole video just to do a video on tax season. Like we do know it could be in 2 months, but with the government shutdown, we don't. Everything's been pushed back. It's been kind of interesting. So we'll see how that
Yeah.
goes down. So with that said, blessings and abundance to all, and then we'll be back next time.
Peace.